Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the action thriller film, I Still See You. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. Numerous people are killed in an explosion at Dr. Martin Steiner's Ashburn Laboratories in Chicago. Indistinguishable from humans, the event's victims' ghostly specters start haunting the world as non-sentient remnants that momentarily replay specific deeds every day. 10 years later, Veronica Ronnie Calder, a high school student, confronts her mother about the fact that they don't acknowledge the daily presence of her deceased father Robert at their breakfast table. A young man's remains, whose name she instinctively recognizes as Brian, terrifies her. Before disappearing, Brian scrawls the word "run" on a mirror. Ronnie begins leaking from her ear during a Mr. Bittner session on leftovers. She approaches Mr. Bittner at his house because she thinks Brian wants to hurt her, but he dismisses her concerns. Knowing Brian's interest in relics, Ronnie persuades new student Kirk to assist her in identifying Brian. Kirk's investigation finds that Brian was thought to have kidnapped and killed Mary Greer, the daughter of Pastor Greer. When they go to see Pastor Greer, she admits she doesn't know who Brian was but adds that he committed suicide the day after Mary vanished. Ronnie learns that Mary and she were both born on the same day. Kirk is asked about his inquiry into Mary Greer's death by school principal Pescatelli after getting a call from Pastor Greer. Ronnie experiences images of Brian while watching a basketball game for the school, and Principal Pescatelli's body unexpectedly falls through the roof. Ronnie is informed by Kirk that he thinks Pescatelli passed away as a result of telling him about their inquiry. They link Brian to the killings of Emma Shaw and Claire White, two more young women. Brian was Claire White's lover, according to Carrie, Claire's sister. She adds that they can go to Chicago's no-go zone to see Claire's death firsthand. To get to Ashburn Laboratories in Darkness Falls, the scene of Claire's death, Ronnie and Kirk must navigate dangerous relics. Dr. Martin Steiner is among the onlookers at Claire's death scene when the two people see him. He is now a scruffy guy. According to Steiner, he was working on a project that would employ live people as carriers for the dead in order to bring them back to life, but the transference required that both parties have a birthday. Steiner's research assistant, Brian, was convinced that Brian was attempting to atone for the killings of his victims. Steiner commits suicide after being freed from the weight of knowledge. Kirk is taken into jail by school officials after they discover a gun in his locker. When Ronnie seeks assistance from Mr. Bittner once more, he reveals that Kirk was expelled from his former school for having a gun. Ronnie doesn't buy Kirk's claims that the new gun was placed, he tries to convince her otherwise. They suspect Brian will attempt to kill Ronnie in order to resurrect one of the dead women in the 48 hours leading up to her birthday, and Mr. Bittner promises to keep her safe during that time. Bittner assists her in lining the panic room of her home with lead, which is meant to keep leftovers from getting through. Kirk visits Bittner's home after learning that he was actually Dr. Steiner's research collaborator. He finds that Bittner had been attempting to bring his deceased daughter Eva back to life. He is knocked out and then buried alive by Bittner. In order to find a vessel for Eva, Bittner was killing young girls who had the same birthday as his daughter, Ronnie understands. When they learned the truth, he made Brian and Principal Pescatelli's deaths appear to be suicides. She runs to a frozen lake to get away. She cracks the thin ice when Bittner captures her, plunging them into the chilly water. Bittner is drowned by Mary Greer's ghost, but Ronnie is saved by Brian's ghost. Ronnie fights to stay awake, but she recalls learning to ice skate at the same lake with her father. Kirk gets there in time to save her from drowning. He explains that he was unearthed by the ghost of his deceased father. Kirk takes Ronnie to her father's grave. Since they are the only two who are aware of the real cause of the Chicago incident, they decide to take action. Bittner's remnant watches the pair as they depart before disappearing. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.